Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're watching Mirror Now with me, Griha Atul Siddiqui. Straight on to the top story that we are tracking on Mirror Now at this hour, and this one directly affects you, the consumer. The domestic airfare in India is seeing a spike, and fares of some of the key air routes have increased by 30%. This is 15 to 30% increase over the last 2 to 4 weeks. Now, for instance, if we see the airfare of Delhi and Mumbai flights booked between February 1st and 7th, it was about 4,000 rupees, while the airfare between 25th of February to March 3rd, this price has gone up to over 5,000 rupees. Now, this is a 26% hike that we are looking at. Now, the industry experts had also claimed that Ukraine-Russia war had led to the price rise in crude oil prices globally and had impacted the aviation sector with costlier jet fuel. So from March 1st, the aviation turbine fuel in Delhi costs about 95,350 rupees per kiloliter. This is much higher than what it was on March 1st, 2021, where it stood at 59,400.91 rupees per kiloliter. However, the global oil prices are dipping now. And apart from the factors, the global factors, industry experts and analysts, they are suggesting that the increase in demand for air travel across the country may have also resulted in this price rise. And now, as COVID cases are also nearing 2-year lows, more and more people are traveling for work and leisure over the last few weeks, and rising demand may have also added to playing the role in this particular price hike.
This is definitely not a good news for air passenger, especially when you're planning to travel immediately or in coming days, for a simple reason that the average airfare has gone up by around 30%. If we compare the airfares from February 1st to 15th of March, we will see that the airfare, which was somewhere close to around rupees 4,000 to 4,500 on busy route, whether it be Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, the same airfare has gone up to beyond 6,500 per seat on the same route. And the reason behind it, there are two factors behind it. First, the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, which has escalated the crude oil prices globally. And the second important factor that, but obviously, is that the turbine fuel prices have reached to record high. Currently, from March 1st, the turbine fuel prices, which is beyond rupees 95,000 per kiloliter. And the airline sources have informed that on 15th of March, when oil companies will once again revise the prices of turbine fuel, it is very likely that the turbine fuel prices will further escalate, and this simply means that in coming days the average airfares may further go up.
Mr. Subhash Goyal, who is the chairman of STIC Travel Group, now joins me on the broadcast. Mr. Goyal, thank you so much for joining me on Mirror Now. Now, straight to the big focus that we are having on the channel as per now. These are the rise in domestic airfare. How do you think it's going to impact the consumers, considering all of them were getting ready to travel after 2 years of lockdown?
See, the airfares were bound to go up, because the direct operating cost, which we say DOC, is about 30 to 40% of any airline operation. So the fuel prices have shot up because of the Ukraine-Russia war, and because of that, Russia is a very big supplier of fuel. So because of that, the airfares, fuel prices have gone up, so naturally no airline is going to operate at a loss. So this increase was expected, and if the war doesn't end, then this might further go up as far as domestic airfares are concerned. As far as international airfares are concerned, because after 27th of this month, the scheduled international flights will start. Right now, only 50-60 flights were operating, but we have air services agreement with 105 countries. And so all of a sudden, from 27th, the supply of airline seats to India and from India will increase substantially. So right now, the fares which are there under the air bubble are absolutely prohibitive. So they would have come down substantially if the fuel prices and the war would not have been there. But I'm sure that from uh, the current prices are about 100 to 200% more than pre-COVID times. So they would definitely come down by at least 70 to 100% if you know if the war does not escalate, because there are many countries, mainly the Middle East countries. For them, the oil prices don't make much difference because they produce oil. So for them, it will be very easy to for them it will be very easy to uh,
Yeah, Mr. Goyal,
to get
I
oil
just
from.
wanted to understand, since you also mentioned international air travel. Now, there is a certain data that suggests that the traveling abroad is comparatively cheaper at the moment. So, if we are talking about this crude oil price rise, how is it not impacting international airfare and it is increasing the domestic airfare? How is that happening, sir?
No, because domestic, the number of flights which were operating during February and last year and now are more or less the same. There has been no increase in the number of air seats within the country. But internationally, the air seats are going to go up substantially. There will be about more than 200, 300% increase in the number of seats. So it is a simple economic principle of demand and supply. So once, they
Right.
will, naturally the airfares will come down. And if the war does not increase, escalate, we hope that they may further come down. But and many a times this has happened, that it is cheaper to fly abroad than to fly within India, because but once new airlines like the Casa airline comes, Jet Airways is going to come again. So when these airlines come, then because of competition there might be slight 10-15% decline. But most important,
Right. So, Mr. Goyal, when you say it's a question of demand and supply, but obviously, I'd just like to understand that obviously a larger chunk of this increase is to do with the global oil price rise that we are looking at in the wake of the Russia-Ukrainian conflict. But how much of that is also to do with more and more people willing to travel now, especially after they're coming out of a two-year-old pandemic? So more and more, it's not just work, but also leisure travel that has increased. So do you think this is also a substantial share which is, leading up to this fare hike?
no, see, demand and supply, if the demand increases, naturally the fare will increase. But the amount of increase which we are seeing on domestic airfares is not demand and supply. It is actually the oil prices. So, but yes, if more airlines start operating in India, then definitely there will be some decline. Similarly, we will see some decline
Okay.
in the international airfares. Uh, uh, Definitely will some decline in the international airfares.
Right. Mr. Subhash Goyal, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. That's a very important update, and Mr. Subhash Goyal there breaking it down for you also. So, the domestic air travel all set to be dearer for more and more people who are wanting to travel within the country. We'd have to wait and watch when this geopolitical conflict really stops impacting travel and how soon do the global crude oil prices really go down.